The second story hits closer to home. It's an offensive and somewhat frightening symbol, a severed pig's head found outside of a North Philadelphia mosque.
This comes after the mosque, Al-Aqsa Islamic Society, received a harassing phone message asking if the members are happy about what happened in France.
See that car that just went by the mosque there? Somebody threw a severed pig's head out of the window of that pickup truck.
Yeah, it's a red pickup truck, and it was circling the mosque about 2 nights ago, and that's when they threw out that pig's head out of the passenger side window. The manager found the pig head the next morning, and the Muslim community is calling this an act of discrimination. Police and the FBI, they are looking into these incidents. Well, Qasim Rashid, national spokesperson for the, you have to say this for me, I apologize.
Ahmadiyya Muslim community.
Ahmadiyya Muslim community. You're joining us this morning.
Hey,
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So here we go. You're here on an appropriate morning, I guess, so to speak.
Yep.
Look at the cover of the Daily News. Donald Trump, after his comments yesterday, saying just ban all Muslims from coming into the country until, you know, everything simmers down a little bit. Your response?
You know, this is not only unconstitutional, but it reeks of bigotry and racism. You know, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is Muslims who believe in the Messiah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, have been here since 1920. We're actually America's oldest Muslim organization, and we set foot in Philadelphia first. So, having spread throughout the United States peacefully for a century, my brother is a U.S. Marine, served honorably, we have doctors, I'm a lawyer myself. It sounds to me like this is a man desperate for attention, desperate for votes. And what's scary, though, is that he's getting them with this kind of rhetoric. And I think this is a place where Americans, as people in Philadelphia, around the country, we need to stand united against this kind of intolerance, because if we don't, we're going to enable him to continue to promote a level of hatred that we haven't seen in a long time.
Would you say that ISIS has hijacked your religion?
I've heard that term. I mean, they're trying to, right? And I think part of the problem is, you know, we need to look at the leadership in the Muslim community. There's been a failure of Muslim leadership for organizations like ISIS to even exist. You know, it's easy to blame Western interventionism, and there's no doubt that the illegal Iraq War killed countless innocent civilians, and there's a lot of grievances there. But I think this is where Muslim leadership needs to stand up and say, we will not respond to injustice with more injustice. The head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, His Holiness the Khalifa of Islam, has been adamant that regardless of how we have been treated, we cannot respond with violence. True Islam condemns all forms of terrorism. It condemns violent jihad. It condemns theocracy. True Islam teaches separation of mosque and state, and this is the narrative that we need to have more often.
And so many people have said that, saying this is not true Islam here. What you're looking at and what people are saying, oh, this is just all Muslims, it's not the same thing.
No, it's not. It's not. And, you know, ISIS represents such a minute number of Muslims. Their ideology is draconian, it's backwards, it's self-destructive. And for Mr. Trump to want to cease Muslim immigration, what he's effectively doing is he's giving ISIS more propaganda. More tools to radicalize youth, to convince them that America is somehow anti-Muslim. And my message to those young Muslims out there is America is not anti-Muslim, not by a long shot.
Lindsey Graham, one of the candidates, actually, he's so far down the polls, he's getting some attention, but he said ISIS loves Donald Trump is what a statement he made over the weekend. But anyway, so why don't Muslims take out ISIS?
Well, we have to understand that extremism is not an Islamic issue, it's a humanitarian issue. Just the same way we wouldn't expect white Americans to go and take out the Planned Parenthood terrorists or take out the KKK, we must all stand united against all forms of extremism. But why don't
those countries over there that surround Syria and Iraq, why don't they go in and take care of this problem? Why do we have to do it?
I agree with you 100% on that. And in fact, the head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, His Holiness the Khalifa of Islam, has been adamant on this, that rather than the United States playing world police, rather than us continuing to spend billions of dollars of our own resources, we need to empower local governments to have a local coalition and go and take the lead on this. The other question to ask is, how is ISIS continuing to get its funding? I mean, we can bring Iran to the negotiation table through sanctions, but we can't stop these thugs and terrorists from making millions and millions of dollars a day. Something's not right there.
Do you, when you walk around the streets of Philadelphia and you say your name, do you feel people's eyes, I mean, looking at you funny and, oh, what's this guy up to?
You know, Philadelphia is a city of brotherly love.
Yeah.
And, you know, having been here for as long as I have, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community has been here for decades and decades. We're intimately involved in the community. We do 150 soup kitchens a year. We're building a new 21,000 square foot mosque on Broad and Glenwood. You know, we see our fellow Philadelphians as our neighbors, as our brothers and sisters, and we are asking them, you know, join us in this campaign for tolerance, for peace, for compassion.
But even if you see them that way, do you feel like they see you differently? Are you ever concerned?
You know, I only worry about what's within my control.
Yeah.
And what's within my control is treating people with love, with humanity, with compassion. And hopefully, if somebody has ill will towards me, by getting to know me, it'll help melt away that ill will.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Qasim.